The night was draped in a cloak of silence, broken only by the whispering wind weaving through the ancient trees. The moon hung high, casting silver beams upon the earth. In the heart of a dense forest, amidst the shifting shadows, a figure emerged, her presence ethereal, her steps soundless. She was Aradia, the goddess of witches, the daughter of the night, sent to the mortal world to ignite the flames of rebellion and freedom. Long ago, when the world was ruled by tyrants who wielded power like a blade, the oppressed cried out to the heavens for salvation. It was then that Diana, the goddess of the moon, and Lucifer, the prince of light, came together in a secret dance of divine creation. From their union was born Aradia, a child of both celestial and infernal origins, destined to walk among humankind as a liberator. From her earliest days, Aradia was unlike any other. Her eyes shimmered like molten silver, her hair as dark as the void between stars. She could hear the whispers of the wind, understand the language of animals, and command the tides with a mere gesture. Diana, her mother, nurtured her with sacred knowledge, teaching her the forgotten arts, the old ways that mortals had long been forbidden to practice. As she grew, so did her power. But with power came purpose. Aradia was not meant to dwell in the celestial realms. She was to descend into the world of men, where fear shackled the souls of the meek, and tyrants crushed those who dared defy them. She was to be their savior. One fateful night, under the light of a full moon, Aradia stepped through the veil separating the divine from the mundane. Her bare feet touched the soil of the earth, and for the first time she inhaled the scent of mortality, the scent of pain, of longing, of hope. She traveled far and wide, walking through villages where the poor suffered under the weight of unjust lords, where women were silenced, where the accused were burned for practicing the old ways. She listened to the hushed prayers of the desperate and saw the tear-streaked faces of those who had lost everything. It was then that she knew her mission. In the darkest corners of the world, hidden beneath the canopy of whispering trees, Aradia found them, those who had been cast out for knowing too much, for whispering to the moon, for tending to the sick with herbs rather than prayers to the church's God. These were the witches, the wise women and men who had been forced into hiding. Aradia spoke to them in the language of fire and shadow, her voice weaving through their fears like a spell. She did not promise them safety, for safety was a lie whispered by those in power to keep the oppressed compliant. Instead, she offered them knowledge, knowledge that would make them powerful, knowledge that would make them dangerous. She taught them the ways of the earth, how to call upon the spirits of nature, how to summon the winds, how to turn the forces of the universe against those who sought to chain them. And in return they gave her their loyalty, their devotion, their willingness to fight. It was not long before whispers of a new power spread like wildfire through the land. Lords who had once ruled with impunity found themselves cursed. Their crops withered, their cattle died, their nights were haunted by shadows that whispered the name of Aradia. The church, sensing the tide turning, declared her a heretic, the queen of witches, the bride of the devil. But Aradia did not cower. She led her followers into the heart of the cities, where they planted seeds of rebellion among the downtrodden. She stood before the gallows where witches had been hanged and declared, "No more." She stepped into the churches where the fearful prayed for her downfall and spoke of a power greater than fear, the power of knowledge, of unity, of defiance. The rulers of the land trembled. Armies were sent to hunt her, but the forests turned against them, the rivers swallowed them, and their own dreams drove them mad. For Aradia was not merely a woman. She was the storm, the fire, the voice of the oppressed rising against the silence imposed upon them. But no war is without cost. One fateful night, betrayed by one she trusted, Aradia was captured. Shackled in chains of iron, she was dragged before the highest court of the land, where priests and nobles gathered to witness her fall. "Aradia," the high priest intoned, "you stand accused of witchcraft, of leading the weak astray, of blasphemy against the order of the world." She stood before them unbowed. "It is your order that is unnatural," she said, her voice like a midnight breeze. "It is your world that is a lie. The true order of the world is freedom. And no chains, no fire, no decree of mortal men can change that. They took her to the pyre, bound her to the stake. The flames roared to life, reaching hungrily toward her. But as the fire touched her skin, the wind howled through the city and the flames flickered. Then died. The crowd gasped. The executioners stepped back in terror. And Aradia, with a smile that belonged to the moon itself, whispered words that only the earth could understand. In a flash of silver light she was gone. Some say she ascended back to the heavens that night, her mission complete. Others say she walks still, a shadow in the moonlight, a whisper in the wind. But one thing is certain: wherever there is oppression, wherever knowledge is forbidden, wherever the free are bound in chains, Aradia's name is spoken in secret, her teachings passed from lips to ears in hushed tones. And on nights when the moon is full, when the air is thick with magic, the witches gather in circles, their hands clasped, their voices rising in song. For they know that the goddess of witches is never truly gone. She is in the rustling leaves, in the flickering candle flames, in the defiant hearts of those who refuse to bow. And when the time comes, when the world once again cries out for liberation, Aradia will return, stepping through the veil once more, her silver eyes burning with the light of the moon. Her voice calling to the souls of the forgotten. For she is the goddess of witches. She is the fire in the darkness. She is the promise that no chain can ever hold forever. She is Aradia.